look at me fade out.
We're back.
But I didn't
back.
talk over the music. I didn't do that because I'm not pro.
I don't know. You're pretty pro.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. I'm going to still do it. I'm sorry. I'm just going to still do it. When my sister returns.
Yes.
I don't want to be out of practice.
That's a fair
So I got to do it.
I get it.
But I'm Jamie, and this is Mr. Ugg.
It's so cute. You find that so funny.
I think it's hilarious. I can't believe it took us this long for us to come up up Yeah. It's hilarious to me.
I've changed names.
Mr. Ugg.
Since I'm on the show more often, I no longer. And when your sister comes back to the show, I will resort to going back to producer Deb.
I don't know. I kind of like Mr. Ugg. Well, you know what? We'll ask her. We'll see what she has to say. Yeah. But she's greatly missed. But that's okay.
I'm sorry, people.
I'm sorry too, but it is what it is. Anyway.
You get me, suckers.
So we took a break because you had to go to Hawaii for work.
It was miserable.
Such a sacrifice. But because we love Hawaii.
Yes.
And we're good tourists. We stay where we're supposed to stay. We don't bother anyone.
Yes.
We have no interest in buying any homes there.
We stick with the tourists.
We are very respectful, et cetera, et cetera. We tip like crazy, all the things. Anyway. Yeah. So you had to go for work. And so we decided to add a couple days before you had to go to work.
Yeah.
Mistake number one.
Yeah,
which,
I did.
In many ways.
I did have a conversation with Matt, who loved meeting you, by the way, as somebody I work with. Matt.
Yes. The one that I said I thought he was from Oakland and he was from Texas.
No, he's from Texas, but he lives in Anchorage, Alaska.
I said, hey, I'm like, are you from Oakland?
I meant to tell you this. He talked to me the other day. He loved meeting you. He goes, you always wonder who's on the other side of somebody that you know, right?
Oh, like a spouse?
Yeah. So, and I've met his daughter because his daughter chimes in on Teams calls all the time. Anyway, he said, you know, you and I talked about that, how you wish you had stayed longer instead of whatever. And he goes, and I'll tell you what, we had a great time. But if I did it again, I would come before.
Why?
And I go, why? And he goes, one of the things about going to a market like that and doing all that work is I was flooded with things that needed to be done.
Yes.
Right then. There was follow-up. I was the only one that could do it.
So
I was
you're still working.
Right. And so even though he was technically on vacation, because we met with, 50 clients in 2 days, there was a lot of immediate follow-up that he was kind of forced to do while he was... Anyway,
in reality, you worked the entire flight home.
Yes, I did.
Literally. So, because we left on a Wednesday morning, and you worked for 5 hours straight.
So he's not wrong, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So.
Well, then maybe... Well, whatever.
Yeah. So still, I actually told him, I was like, actually, no, I'm an executive. You guys do the work. I just show up. And I wow everybody, and then I leave. No.
You dazzle people. I dazzle and then I leave.
Having gone to, not that these are bad markets, but having been to Columbus and Pittsburgh and some markets right before that, I felt that it was okay and acceptable for Honolulu to be on the list.
Right.
So.
And I will say that everybody that I met, because I was invited to go to the dinner with everybody, which I was so glad, by the way, just to meet other adults, you know, because I spend your work days alone. Yeah. I spend them alone. And so, which I don't hate. I caught up on Drag Race. However, okay, so
let's start the story.
We're moving around. So we go. Stories. We land on Saturday.
Yeah.
Easy, great flight. We get there at like 11 o'clock in the morning because of the time change.
Right.
So we get to our hotel. They didn't have our room quite yet because here's the thing with the Hilton Hawaiian. It is incredibly large.
Yeah.
And there's thousands of rooms.
Yeah.
And everybody flies in from the mainland. So everybody gets there between 9 and 11 in the morning.
Exactly.
So people are checking out. People have to clean the rooms.
Right.
So there is literally nowhere to check in until 12:30.
They don't even let you check in.
There's no one at the desk.
Front desk. Yep.
There's nothing.
Yep.
There's barriers up that said you can digitally check in at 10:30 or something, but you cannot get a room until at least 12:30. So we're like, all right, well, I mean, I guess we'll go to the bar.
So we handed somebody our luggage.
Beeline to the bar.
Yep.
Now, I am not a huge beer drinker, but I do like, and it was humid. We were wearing the clothes that we flew in on, of course, because we're wearing like pants and whatever. Yeah. So I order a extra large longboard beer, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
And I was so thirsty, and it's 11 in the morning, whatever. So it was great. And then because I was feeling so good, I ordered another one, but I ordered a small one this time because, because you're like, hey, our room's ready.
Well,
I'm like, all right,
and
cool.
small is still a 16. So
so I had about 3.5 beers in an hour, which is a lot.
Yes.
So we get our room. It's beautiful. They've hooked you up.
Yep.
We're going to have a lovely stay. Now I stayed at the Hilton Hawaiian when I was a child. Mm-hmm. My mom took me and Stephanie to Hilton Hawaiian to celebrate her divorce.
Yeah.
It was also the weekend of the Pro Bowl, which is where I met Al Davis. I met Bubba Smith, and it was amazing. And of course, my mom was like, "Go over there, get the autograph." And I'm like, I don't even know who this pitch. You'll remember it. Trust me. You'll be glad you did it.
And do you have those autographs today?
I don't, but I have the photos of me meeting Al Davis by a palm tree, which is probably over by the pool or the lagoon area that we swam around in. Anyway, so it's great. We're having a great time. I booked a sunset catamaran.
For the first day.
Us. Yep. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. Now, here's the thing. Women, maybe some men know, I have migraine. I get them pretty regularly. Yeah. I have a lot of medication that I get from doctors, and we're trying to find one that works best. So, of course, we get to Hawaii, and I'm fighting a migraine. And I'm trying really hard to just, ignore it. But if you have a migraine, you can't ignore that stuff. Sure. And drinking the beer didn't help anything.
Of course.
So I had taken a bunch of drugs before we left for our catamaran. We get on. The boat's beautiful. The crew is amazing. The people that are with us are great. There was only one douchebag couple, and you were right. They are douchebag couples wearing his Billionaire Boys Club t-shirt that was brand new.
Red flag.
And they could not have had enough cologne on.
Oh, my God. Just
it was so strong.
How are you out in 20 mile an hour windy ocean, sailboat, flying, salt water, alcohol everywhere? And you still get a waft when they walk by.
People literally were driven away. Everybody that was sitting with us when I moved.
Yeah.
And they had the whole bench to themselves with some other poor couple that got stuck with them. Yeah. Anyway, so we're on there. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Now, it is very windy. The waves are significant, but catamarans just roll right over them, so you don't even feel it.
Not as much as you would in another boat.
Yeah. No. Mm-hmm. And then one of the crew members accidentally unfurled all the sails, so we're going 40 miles an hour in the sea.
Well, it wasn't that fast, but it was fast.
It could have been. We don't know, but it was fast. And
they're faster than they usually go.
Yes. They're like, okay, I guess we're going really fast today. So the other thing with this group is this boat is they don't hug the shoreline like a lot of catamarans do in Waikiki. They were out.
Yeah,
and we were out pretty far, which I personally really like.
Yeah.
You can actually feel how deep the water is, even on a boat. It's pretty cool. So I loved it. Of course, I'm not getting in. I know there's sharks in there, but so we're now all of a sudden my head is hurting and I'm getting overstimulated because they're playing a lot of music. You're really excited. You're having a great time. We did have a cocktail and it was great. And all of a sudden I'm like, I don't like where I am anymore. And I want to go home. All of a sudden I wasn't having anxiety. I just was like, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel good. And then you're all, hey, look at how beautiful it is. You're trying to distract me.
I was, because it was getting in your head too. So,
well, you think that, but the headache did not help.
No, yeah, I know.
And so I was getting seasick. I
wasn't doubting it.
Which was weird because I don't get seasick.
You were worried about how you felt.
I have been on boats many, many times, and I've never gotten seasick.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I get up and I run. I go, I think I'm going to throw up. And the girl was so nice. She goes, okay, they have a pile of red buckets.
Yep.
And they're like, here's your bucket.
It's not the first time this has happened.
And she escorts me to the far corner of the boat.
Yep.
And she's like, just sit here quietly. She's like, I'm going to get you some ginger ale and some ice. Please chew the ice. It helps. I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden, and I unleashed. And I was telling him, have you ever tried to throw up quietly? Because I did. I was trying so hard. And obviously I'm not looking at what I'm doing, and then but I mid puke and I threw up a lot. Yeah. It was all liquid, no food.
Beer and
because we hadn't eaten anything, we had chips. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well mistake number 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had queso and dip chips or something
where
like
we had to add a half a bottle of hot sauce to make it taste good.
God, it was
like glue.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I threw up, and then I'm just sitting there. I'm holding my puke, and I'm like, and I go, I don't know what to do with it. He grab it, you fling it into the sea.
I did.
I'm like, all right, well, there you go. And so I just sat there
and proceeded to order another drink after that.
And you got it for free.
I did.
I couldn't believe it. He was like, this one's on us, man. I'm like, I think they feel sorry for you because your wife's throwing up on a boat.
Maybe.
So anyway, I tipped them very heavily. I felt so bad, but I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
So the whole way home, I felt so like fragile is how I would explain it.
Yeah.
So we finally get to our hotel, and all I want to do is I took a shower. All I want to do is just lay. I think I just didn't feel good. And you went off and got pasta or whatever we had for dinner that night. We're hungry. We got to get food. You got calamari?
I ordered I just ordered a DoorDash-y type thing, right? Because there's a lot of little restaurants down there.
That was the only drawback is that this hotel does not have real room service.
Yeah,
and I was a little surprised, but it is like a city. Yeah. It's so big. There's like 5 buildings. And
there's no way they could do that.
Anyway, so I mean, other than puking and having the red bucket of shame, I was the only one, and I was like, of course, I have to be the one. I was so mad. I was so mad because that just does not. I just don't do that. Yeah. I'm pretty good on a boat. I've never had a problem.
Well, it was the beer and the migraine for sure.
Oh, for sure. But still, I was really pissed. And the sunset was good. But
it was okay.
There was clouds.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's the reason why I kind of wanted to stay after your work instead of before your work is if you're in social media and not in it, but if you follow any kind of social media, then everybody knows about Sailing with Phoenix, which is this gentleman, Oliver, who is sailed from Oregon to Oahu. Yep. And where our hotel was, where our room was, we were literally overlooking the Waikiki Yacht Harbor, the marina, I mean.
Yep.
And so I'm like, it makes sense that they would put him there because it's private and people just can't wander in. It's super like protected.
Yeah, you can't just land on a beach somewhere. They needed somewhere.
Well, no, but I'm just saying there's several harbors, but that's one of the only private harbors. Right. And he was planning on Waikiki no matter what. So anyway, he was set to arrive 2 days after we left. And I'm like, God, if we had stayed, I would have had a perfect view of the entire thing, and it would have been awesome.
Yep.
So I was a little bummed about that.
Well,
and it was
no idea, so.
And what was even better is the day before we were leaving, there was a rainbow hitting the harbor.
The exact spot where he ended up
landing.
Oh
my God. It was so cool. Yeah. Anyway, that was like, God, if we had just stayed, I would have been able to. Now, I don't know if I would have gone over there. There was like 500 people plus went to meet him when he landed. Yeah. But I would have watched it all, from the room. But oh well. Anyway, so but I mean, overall, it was the hotel was very nice. Everybody was really the staff is really nice.
Yeah, everybody was like, see you next time.
Yeah, and, they're like, are you going to come back? And I'm like, I guess, sure. Yeah, why not?
Why not?
I don't know.
One thing though, if people don't know about the Sailing with Phoenix guy, just to go back to that for a second, it's not just that he sailed from Oregon to Honolulu, or Waikiki, but it's kind of how he did it. And it wasn't even that he did the whole social media thing. That was big too. It was the fact that he spent a year basically learning how to sail. He had sold all his stuff. He got out of the
his 401k.
This was an anti-corporate, done kind of thing. Yes. Live out your dreams, face your fears, all that kind of stuff. And he went from about 10,000 followers to 1.5 million in a period of about 2 weeks.
Yeah, his whole journey kept getting bigger. In fact, when he could almost see the islands. He could almost see Hawaii. And Elf Cosmetics airdropped him from a plane.
Supplies, Smart.
Supplies like sunscreen and lotion and snacks, because he said he had run out of snacks, and everybody's like, oh my God, get the man some snacks. And what's funny is people are like, oh, people do this all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not just that. It's the fact that he was like, I'm doing this. I'm terrified. I've learned all I can learn. Yep. Most people do not do this. They chicken out and they don't do it. So I'm going to do it. And his cat, badass cat.
Yeah, Phoenix.
Little Calico, just chilling, slept almost the whole way.
No,
and now he's chilling in Waikiki, and today he's cleaning his boat. He's like, I have to clean my boat. I hate cleaning. I'm a clean person. And he's so funny. He's like, I'm a clean person. I just don't like cleaning. I'm like, well, welcome to the club, buddy. No one does. But anyway, so then the second day, we rented a cabana, which was kind of an abortion. Yeah. I was so bummed because it was graduation week for Hawaii. Colleges and high schools, everybody graduated locally.
Which we had no way of knowing.
Which we did not know. If I had known, I would have rescheduled the cabana. And these cabanas, I mean, it's not like, hey, they come and serve you and take your order. It's not that.
It's a gazebo next to the pool, so you don't have to fight the masses.
And you have shade.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. And it was so flippin' hot.
It was hot.
There was a very large family who clearly was celebrating, and most of them were not in the hotel. There was one guest, and then they all came local and came.
Somebody got a room, and the whole family showed up.
Like 20 people.
Like a lot.
Plus kids.
Half the pool.
It wouldn't have been so bad, but the pool wasn't that big, and they were super duper drunk, and they had brought like coolers and all, sandwiches and
it was
mangoes.
Like day at the beach, but at the hotel pool.
Yeah, it was really
annoying.
And then
actually,
what was funny is I told you, I'm like, they know that I'm judging them. They can see that I'm judging them. So finally,
we had a front row seat to that.
One of the men walks up and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "What cabana are you in?" I'm like, "One." And he's like, "Okay, well, we're just going to take these two over here." I'm like, "Awesome, great," because I think he was trying to see my vibe, like, am I going to be an asshole, or am I just like, do whatever you want, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Nobody was saying anything.
Yeah.
The problem is that you couldn't even get in the freaking pool.
No.
There was like 300 people in the pool, and it was all
insane.
them.
Yeah, it was insane.
Horrible.
Listen, we just chilled the whole time and had a few drinks, and that was it. And
you got propositioned at the bar.
I did.
By a man.
Because
you had your shirt open and unbuttoned.
Yeah, but it's this. It's not.
Put your breasts away when you're going to the bar in Honolulu, apparently.
I didn't know.
I know. And you know what? It just made me realize that now you're the hot one in the couple.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
No one ever propositions me.
That's not true at all.
I'm invisible now because I'm old. Stop. I'm a handsome woman now. So when I go to vacation, they're like, "Oh, isn't it great that she's getting out there still? She's not at home caring for her grandchildren and knitting." It's good that she's here. Hopefully someone's tending to her garden.
So let's talk about what you did most of the day I went to work, the first day.
Trying to get a shower? What are you talking about?
That was one thing.
What was the other thing? I don't remember. Masturbating? What? No, I don't know. What was I doing?
Did or did you not experience wildlife the day before?
Oh, demon.
Demon.
Yes, but I didn't experience that alone. You were with me.
No, but then you obsessed over it.
Oh yeah, okay.
The rest of the time.
So after the horrific day at the cabana, I said, let's just go to the ocean. Let's just see. Yeah. Now this is not completely closed off to the ocean, which is what I prefer, which is why I like a certain part of Hawaii where there's lagoons where nothing large can swim in.
It's more of a cove-ish, lagoonish
It's a lagoon, except that there is a pier where creatures could swim in if they wanted to. Yeah, right. And there are sharks. It's their home. That's where they are. So we get there. Now, I'm naive. I have no idea that wildlife would be in there outside of maybe fish, which I still don't like that idea. Yeah. But anyway, what if a barracuda was in there or something? I don't like that. So anyway, I saw a dogfish that's from the Amazon. It's horrifying. Yes. God forbid one gets in.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
So anyway, I'm in there swimming around and we're having a grand old time. And I have completely forgotten that it's open water over on to the left of me. I'm like, oh, la, la, la. And you're standing there all, what is that? Behind me. You point behind me. What is that? You're all, it's not a shark. And I'm like, and I turn around then I see this head pop out of the water. I'm like, she's like, and I'm swimming as fast as I can. And we were, okay, now normally I would not do this, but we walked into the water where it was very, very rocky.
There was one part of the lagoon that was rocky.
There's actually a sandy entrance. We just didn't see it. Yeah. And so we literally got in the hardest way possible, the worst way possible. So I'm wearing my flip-flops because I don't want to cut my paws on coral or anything because God forbid I get an infection.
No.
I saw what happens when you step on that shit. It never ends.
Never ends.
Forever. So I'm swimming freestyle like my life's depending on it, and my flip-flop pops off. And I turn and I'm swimming all, grab my shoe! I'm just
watching her swim crazy. I'm kind of walking in a little bit.
Well, I'm so glad that you weren't fearful. I was terrified. I don't mess with wildlife ever. Never.
It was a sea turtle.
It was a sea turtle. Yes.
Let everybody know who Demon is.
It was a big one. Well, anyway, he's not that big actually. He was the child of the group.
Yeah.
But anyway,
as we found out later,
he was a bit mischievous.
Yes,
because
he liked following people around.
He did like to follow people around, and he followed me around in that first interaction. I'm like, immediately no.
Well, at first, I will tell you, what made me double take on it was it literally looked like a little piece of wood from where I was, like a wood was floating, but then it went under. And I'm like, okay, that's an animal. That's not how wood acts in the water. So
no.
I was like, what's that? And you're like, what? I'm like, it is not a shark. And you're like, pew! It was so funny.
I'm so glad that it was thrilling to you that I was terrified.
I was laughing the whole time coming in.
All I know is that I was like, all right.
And you're like freestyling, and it's like a foot deep.
I didn't realize I could actually walk.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, it's shallow. I could probably cut my knee on this rock if I don't get up.
So this happens, and then I go to work the next day, because this is kind of a afternoon, evening-ish swim, right?
Yeah.
I go to work the next day, and mind you, you can see the entire lagoon that we were
from
in
our balcony.
From our balcony. Mm-hmm. So what did you do?
So I'm looking out the balcony because it's a beautiful view, open water, gorgeous. And I look down in the lagoon, and there he is in the middle of the lagoon, floating around.
You can see the turtle.
Now there were a couple of turtles,
yes.
but they were staying away from people.
They were on the edges.
They were on the perimeters, like a normal animal. This one was like in the middle going, hey, where is everyone? And so I look down and I'm like, what are you doing down there, Demon? And so now his name is Demon for the rest of our week. And so I start Googling
everything turtle.
Should you stay away from sea turtles? Are sea turtles, do they bite? Are they aggressive? Like,
you
what's
showed me
the
your
situation?
Google history. Your search history was hilarious.
So when I was reading about sea turtles in Hawaii, I'm like, are there sea turtles in Waikiki Beach? Like, what's the situation? They're like, yes, there are sea turtles, and they love that lagoon. They hang out in there, and if they get too close to you, they will try to eat your hair because they'll think it's seaweed. I'm like, oh, awesome. Excellent. Love this for me. So I'm like, no. And then you're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm watching Demon float around in the lagoon. I said, I'm doing all this research on sea turtles because I don't want to get in that water and then have it come to me and I not know what to do. And they're like, they have very sharp beaks. If they feel threatened, they will bite. I'm like, okay, immediately no. I don't want to do it.
I just thought about this. Could you imagine if I had not seen it and he strolled behind you and bit your hair?
I would have divorced you.
I didn't.
For not saying anything. It's your fault.
What if I didn't see it?
You did see it. And if you didn't say anything and you're like, oh, you know what? I did see that. I thought it was wood.
I meant if I had not seen it.
With eyes. No. Anyway, that would have been horrifying.
Yeah. That Monday was Demon Day for sure.
For sure. Anyway, we did end up swimming in it again because...
Well, you learned. You were knowledgeable now.
Well, not only that, but Demon was gone. For one day, he wasn't there. And then the morning... I think it was the morning we were leaving. There were 5 sea turtles chilling in there.
5, yeah.
So here's what was funny though. When we were at dinner and I was meeting I had met one of your coworkers before many times, and she's absolutely lovely. Amazon, yes. Right? Yep. But the rest, obviously, I hadn't met, and they're like, "Oh, we're so excited to meet you!" And so we were all chatting, and they're like, "Well, what's going on? How do you enjoy Hawaii?" I'm like, "Well, your sea turtles are aggressive. I don't really like them very much." And they're laughing. They're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Well, there's a sea turtle in Hilton Hawaiian Village, and it's very difficult, and it's aggressive." And they're like, "Aggressive?" And so I told them all about Demon. And I said, now I'm sure there's some kind of Hawaiian spiritual meaning to this turtle. And they're like, all of them. Well, yes, there is. Yeah. Like, because there's like 4 of them who live there.
Yeah. Most of them live there. One of them's from there.
Yes. Yeah. And they're like, well, yes, absolutely means anything. And so then I had an amazing discussion with one of the gentlemen. Yeah. And he's born and raised.
Yeah, he was the one that was.
He went actually. Yep. He's a West Point graduate. Did you know that?
I did.
It's amazing. So he told me, he goes, you know what was so weird about that area? And I go, what? He goes, they thought I was black. And I'm like,
wait, at West Point?
Yeah. I go, you don't look black. He goes, I know, right? I'm like, you look Hawaiian. He's like, I know. He goes, they didn't even guess Filipino. They were like, you're black. I'm like, no, I'm not. Anyway, I digress. Yeah. So he was telling me that their family's spiritual Hawaiian spiritual creature is a shark. Okay. And he's had some fairly interesting experiences. He's like, look, I don't believe in all that stuff all the time, but something happened. Yeah. Not with the shark, but something happened in the open water at night. and he told his mom about it. She goes, oh yeah, you were literally being guided by our spirit. So there was likely a shark guiding him out of the water. And I'm like, okay, that's enough for me, because the shark is, as far as I'm concerned, is not guiding anything. So, but it was actually so insightful. Everybody in Hawaii is just really great. I mean, the people that we met were wonderful. It was a wonderful time.
I enjoyed it.
And we got some amazing rainbows.
Really? That was like lots of them too.
Like a lot.
And the one when we were leaving, it was right in front of us and almost a complete circle. Like you could see. I've never seen anything like it. Usually you see half a rainbow or the beginning of one.
Circle.
Or if you get really lucky, we've seen double rainbows in Hawaii, and we saw one. But this one I'd never. It was literally you could almost sides.
Yeah.
It curved crazy. Down at the bottom. Yeah, that was nuts.
So here's what's cool is when you're on TikTok or social media, if you're in a place, you're gonna get geographical TikToks,
right.
So I'm scrolling through TikTok, and that day that we got that big rainbow stuff, it was happening all over the island. I found a TikTok where they were driving. I don't know what island they were on, but they were driving.
Oh, I saw this one.
And the guy goes, I'm going to go catch the rainbow. And he runs into a field, and he's hilarious. Waving his arms, trying to touch the rainbow.
It was so great.
It was cool.
It's actually funnier than that, because I saw that one as well, where he goes, stop the fucking car. And he goes, what? I'm going to get the rainbow. And he runs across his field, and his buddies are laughing their heads off, and they're
I know.
more left. And he's just running, because I'm sure as you get closer, it's harder to actually see. But,
they're like, Jared.
My God, it was so funny.
It was so great.
But you know what? I mean, listen,
it was really beautiful.
It was a work play trip, but it
sure.
was fun. I mean, it definitely had its weirdness and downness, but it was so fun.
And then our last dinner there. So we go to the fancy restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. And we got a great view. We're oceanfront. It was beautiful. And we had the coolest server ever.
He was awesome.
He looked like a monk, a Buddhist monk.
He did.
And maybe he was. We don't know. I doubt it, but whatever. So we're ordering.
Probably not a waiter, a Buddhist monk.
Well, he looked like. Maybe he used to be.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that racist?
No.
I don't think so.
No,
anyway.
Not at all. Just they don't have jobs.
So we're going to order. I did see monks, though. We did see monks.
We did.
Anyway. So we're like, well, we want a lot of seafood. So we ordered some grilled octopus, and then we ordered the poke. Now, you and I had poke a couple of times, and it wasn't good.
It
wasn't. And we're like, it's okay.
You would expect it to be better there.
I thought it would be, and it was fresh, but it just, I didn't like the way they had seasoned. I don't know. It just wasn't great.
It was gringoed up a little bit.
Yes. So he brings us the poke, and we inhale it like we've never had it before. It was so delicious.
With chopsticks, and he was very
impressed that we asked for chopsticks. Yes.
So apparently that's
so he goes, well, how did you like it? We're like, it was really delicious. Not as spicy as we prefer, but it was still so fresh and delicious. He goes, we could have made it spicier. And we both paused, and we looked at each other. We looked at him, we're like, so can we have another one? And you can local it up. And he's like, how spicy do you want it? We're like, pretty spicy. He's like, all right,
I got you.
So they wasabi'd that shit,
it was so
and then
good.
Brought us a little baby bowl of red pepper flakes just in case it was, and we put it all on there.
So good.
Here's what was hilarious. I've had wasabi many times, but not to the point where it's just enough where it just burns my tongue. I don't do the full. Some people really get into the wasabi thing. I've never done that before. I took a bite. First of all, I didn't realize wasabi was a slow burn. I thought it was instant. It's not. So I took a big bite of ahi, and I'm like, oh, it's so delicious. God, the wasabi's so good. All of a sudden, it was almost like a hallucination where my nasal nerves were squeezy, but yet I could smell everything in the earth all at once. And my eyes opened, and I'm like, this is wasabi?
I don't know.
It's insane.
I don't know if it's called this, but I've had that happen multiple times.
Oh my God, I've never had that happen to me before.
I call it the wasabi freeze. Because it's like a brain freeze when you eat ice cream too fast or something like that.
You're
but
right.
for your nasal passages.
Dude, it was all in my eyes, everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It definitely.
I'm like, I want to do that. I'll be chasing that high for the rest of my life.
That's very cool.
It's one of those things where it happens for the first time ever and you remember, I'm like, it'll never be that good again. So it's like maybe heroin, but I don't know.
I don't think that's the same.
I'm unsure. Anyway.
TBD.
Yeah. So it was great. I'm so glad we did it. We had a great time.
It's so great that you got to come on. I mean, if you're going to go on a work trip with me, that's a pretty good city to do
the only snafu was, it was Monday. No, it was Tuesday morning. Right. The only snafu was you left to work, and I'm like, well, today I'm going to buy. We like to buy everybody some. We'll buy do some shopping and whatever, because ABC stores are awesome for that stuff.
They are.
And we had a bunch of people to buy for. So it's like 9 a.m., which is late because it feels like noon. Yeah. For us.
Right.
So I'm like, all right. So I get in the shower and I'm like, wash my face, and all of a sudden there's no water pressure. I'm like, what happened? What? It's just like the movies where like I have my hair in a bun and my, I've got makeup down on my face, and I'm like, what happened? Where's the water? So I get out, I'm like, oh my God. So no water. Ugh. No water. And there's nothing worse than being like needing a shower, but not being, you didn't get to take one.
Right.
Or you're like mid through and you had to get out or whatever. Right. So I called guest services, and you know what? I have to tell you, there's something about touching a hotel phone because they're so disgusting because nobody uses them.
No.
So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like holding it with two fingers. I'm like, hello, So first of all, no one's answering. She finally answers. I'm like, hi, hello. I go, I'm in, wherever I'm at. And I said, I have no water. And she's like, oh, okay, well, we'll send maintenance up. I'm like, no. I'm naked. I need to know why there's no water. Do you know of anything? Oh, wait, yeah, I was just handed something. Apparently there's no water.
Just in.
Yeah, that's exactly. Apparently there's no water. We'll let you know. And she hung up, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
Oh my God.
What? So I'm angry.
Yeah.
We had a little drama at home with our pet sitter, who is no longer our pet sitter, but we had a little drama there. So I was already heated.
Right.
I was already really pissed. Everything's fine now, but I was mad at the time. And so I was already kind of mad. So now I'm really mad because now I can't bathe. And so I'm like, all right, fine. Well, I guess I'm just going to make do. So I got dressed, went downstairs. I'm like, I need to talk to somebody. Now, no one is fluent in English, the people that I sought out.
Got it.
So they didn't understand what I was saying. And I'm like, okay, no water. I have no water. They're like, oh, well, you need to talk to somebody else. I'm like, who? Who do I talk to? Because it's 9:00 in the morning and the front desk is not there because they don't check anybody in. Right. So there's no one to talk to. So I had to go to checkout. And I'm like, I felt so Karen, like, I need to talk to a manager. I know I didn't look like that. I know I looked fine, but internally I felt like I'm going to be that mean white woman, and I don't want that at all. I'm just frustrated. So this man who was dealing with a woman who wanted an itemized point by point on her bill with this gentleman. He made her walk her through it, it was awful. Finally, she wanders away, and I'm like, hello, I have no water. He goes, oh yeah. He goes, you should have been notified last night. And I'm like, should I have? I'm like, with what? They're like, well, a little card should have been at your door. And I'm like, okay, no card.
Nothing happened.
There was no card. Nothing. He goes, it's only going to be like an hour. I'm like, well, it's already been an hour and there's still no water. And he's like, okay, well, probably 45 minutes. Like, there's no urgency.
Island time, apparently.
Whatsoever. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll just go shopping. So I went shopping. 2 hours later, thank God there was water. So it all worked out. But I was so pissed. I was walking so far. And you were really worried. You're like, please don't walk through Waikiki by yourself. It's kind of, it's not safe. I'm like, it's 8 a.m. It's like 10 in the morning. No one's going to mess with me. Well, there's always a couple people who think they can be brave and mess with somebody. They did not mess with me. I had a do not fuck with me look at all. They were like, all right, Jesus. And they left me alone. No wonder no one approaches me or asks me for my breasts in public, because I have such a bitch face. I do have that face, though.
The resting bitch
No,
face,
I just have don't fuck with me face.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Everywhere I go. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that no one propositions me in public.
Yeah.
Except for the creeps at the grocery store. Sorry, there's something flying around my face.
I can see it, but I didn't want to say anything.
Is it a bee? Is it a shark?
I thought you would think it was a shark.
God.
I'd be like, what is that?
Here's the deal with wildlife, is that normally I would not be so like uptight about it. But in my life, it's a mosquito, by the way. In my life, since childhood, any kind of wildlife, it's never gone normal. Yeah. Never. A squirrel ran into our house once. We've had birds run into our house. mild, normal creatures lose their shit. One time somebody poisoned a rat in the neighborhood. And where do you think the rat went? Our house. And guess where it went? It climbed into our washer. Oh. Died in our washer. It was trying to die in our... Yeah. So now I know. I'm like, look, I don't give a shit if this turtle has never touched or bothered another human in its existence. It will fuck with me.
This will be the time.
It will. So I know to just stay away. And I even said that at the table. I'm like, listen, man, this is their home. And I don't want to mess with it. And I said, I realize that there are sharks out there and they eat these things like McDonald's. They love sea turtles. I did my research. Tiger sharks love sea turtles and they will eat them and they love them. They're tasty. And I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind that the one time I forget myself, a tiger shark will come into that fucking lagoon and eat demon and bite me. And one of the reasons why I stayed so close to you when we were further out in that lagoon, I'm like, look, if someone's going down, it ain't going to be me. I will push you into this shark and run, fly, swim, whatever. I'm out.
I will say that although it was fun, even though you ran /swam out because of Demon that time.
Yeah.
When we went back, that was probably my favorite time.
We had so much fun. It was really great.
Yeah, when we were turtleless, but on the lookout.
There were no turtles they had left. They had taken off.
We had a good time.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you for letting me come with you.
Oh, it was awesome.
Not that the other cities haven't been amazing. I loved Cincinnati, New York.
Sure.
Wherever Austin was okay, but I mean, in general, we met a really good friend when we were there, so that was worth it in general. But San Diego
that actually made that and being at Austin City Limits were my favorite parts.
San Diego, of course, LA. So there's been some super fun experiences. Yeah. I do want to do more East Coast trips with you, but it's hard because I don't have any concept, and where you stay, that's not walkable. Because it's business day.
Well, if I know you're going, we can do different things, but yeah.
Like every time I suggest the Four Seasons, you're like, well, they're probably not going to pay for that.
Yeah, the work is not going to pay triple what hotel costs are.
Well, I'm failing to see the problem.
Okay.
I'm failing to see. Maybe the Ritz,
we can.
We can stay at the Ritz. Chicago was amazing. I loved Chicago.
Yeah, that was on the edge. But fortunately, the rooms in Chicago were pretty affordable comparatively. They were not.
Honestly... It doesn't matter. They're all nice. I'm just kidding, obviously. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you for listening. Hopefully, it was somewhat funny and exciting and recappy. But we will be back. Happy birthday, Mr. Ugg. Unlike me, you love to celebrate your birthday. So,
I don't know. It's getting harder.
I know. Well, you know what? What's the other thing?
Better than the alternative.
Right.
Sure.
That's right. So happy birthday.
All right.
Happy Pride Month to those who observe, which we do. I cannot wait. We're going to go and we're
going to have a good time.
We're going to have fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
But we will recap what we're doing for your birthday next week.
The next show.
Yeah.
That
so
sounds good.
I hope you like all the weird surprises I have for you. I don't, actually. I don't have anything, but I don't want you to think. But I will say this. You are not allowed to wear a sash or a crown.
Or a button.
Or a button, nothing. You're too old for that shit.
Okay.
But anything else is, it's fine, I suppose.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.